I've rigged this bass boat to compete in some of America's biggest bass tournaments, but we only get one chance to test it before the real season starts. This is my tournament headquarters. From the gear to the electronics and a few Aussie tricks that I'm gonna keep under wraps, this is how I've set it up. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step, I progress no less. Go ahead and place your bet, cause we know who we at, we know we top there. Cause all the hate that you bring, we know it stops there. I'm taking off like a rocketeer and stopping here. It's strange how they cannot see the future, but see profit here. Wait up, we gon' always win. Promise that that's not a promise, yeah, that is a threat. You know that I promise to bring the team commas. When the whole team win, that's when you flex. Righto legends, welcome back. This is the video number 1 to kick things back off on the USA chapter. I am actually really excited. I am pumped to have you guys on the boat and talk about the boat today and what's coming up, because there are plans, and let me tell you, it's exciting. It is really exciting for me. So to give you a bit of a rundown, next year, I'm planning on doing most of the Bassmaster Open series tournament events, depending on what calendar comes out, but you'll see me probably as a permanent fixture in that series. To make sure that I've got everything tricked out and sweet, in 1 month's time, we are doing the St. Lawrence round up in New York. Tommy Wood will be there, another Australian, but it is my one chance to make sure that this boat is tournament ready for next year. There are a few things in here that I think are absolutely awesome, and there are things that I do want to improve, and I'll talk about that. But for those of you that are new to the channel, or maybe have a kayak background, which was my background, this boat is a Phoenix 920 Elite. Now, I had a 618, an 18-foot version of this boat in Australia, and I thought it was perfect. Absolutely awesome. I thought definitely for me, the layout in a Phoenix is clean, it's balanced, it just makes sense. So when I started to look for a boat here in the US, I already had confidence in this hull and the make of the boat. The first thing that you'll notice is that we've got carpet all over this deck. I wish I had sea deck, I really do. I get a bit of FOMO when I go to a boat ramp and I see someone with the sea deck. And that's definitely one thing I wish I had that I don't have. So the 920 is what we have here. It's just short of the 21 foot and I absolutely love it. The motor at the back is how I get around at speed, and it is the Mercury V8 250 horsepower ProXS. For me, it's reliable, it's powerful, and gives me the confidence to run big water and push hard all day long. And I've got it paired with the Atlas hydraulic jack plate, which I'll be honest, I think is a must. It lets me adjust the motor height on the fly, so I'm not constantly worrying about either hitting bottom or losing speed or getting stuck on logs and trees. For me, I found it a real game changer when you're dealing with those shallow spots or choppy conditions. Now, the prop is a 24-inch Fury propeller that's made by Mercury, and that really rounds out the whole package. It delivers really good hole shot for me. I don't really care too much about hole shot though. What I'm really interested in is top speed. A loaded day tournament day with full live wells, which is a lot of water. All my fishing gear on there. I'm probably sitting closer to 71, 72, which for me is still hella fast. So I guess from like the boat motor combo, right? That's your framework that you build everything else on. It really suits me. It's fast, it's precise, it does everything I need. So I'm gonna move the camera around a little bit so you get a better view, but I basically split the boat into 2 halves. Maybe it's the military mindset in me, but I'm thinking about efficiency and where I want to work and do what. The back half for me in the console area is the planning, strategizing, whilst the front deck is the execution and working area. So at the console and the back, I've got 2 HDS Pro 12-inch units. Now they're big, clear screens for me, and I run the C-Map that gives me the Google overlays, as well as the C-Map Genesis. I've got a through-hole transducer so I can see the bottom when I'm on pad, and at the back near the jack plate, I've got my 3-in-1 transducer that gives me side scan. So from back here, I get a bucket load of information using these 2 screens. I've got the Burley Pro visors on them to keep all the glare off so I get a better view of what I'm looking at and can make out better targets. But actually talking about targets, one of the things that I do with idling, to check out spots and see where the fish are sitting, is I'll deploy the trolling motor up there, turn the active target to on, and then display it here at the console. So the trolling motor will be down, I'll be idling around, and I'll also be using the active target forward-facing sonar to pick out spots and then mark them really easy while I'm sitting here. This is usually what you do on a pre-fish day so that you've got your spots and then you can come back and execute on game day. So up front here is basically where the magic happens. I've got the HDS 16 unit, which gives me heaps of space. So really quickly, I will say that the Active Target 2, the forward-facing sonar, has completely changed the way I fish. Actually, maybe I should do a video about that. Let me know in the comments if you'd like that, but I'm no longer fishing structure. Structure attracts me to an area, whether that is, you know, a lay down or a wharf, some sort of ridge line in the water, you know what I mean. And then from then on, I'm actually not fishing structure, I'm fishing fish. Anyway, I can talk about that in a video. The other thing I've got is the Humminbird 360 on an Apex 13-inch screen that keeps me compliant with the BASS rules. Now, realistically, I would love to have another Active Target 2 sitting in scout mode, but we're not allowed 2 transducers in the BASS. So that's why you see that one live transducer, forward-facing sonar, Active Target 2, and then we've got one traditional 360 mega transducer on there as well. Up front, that gives me a great image of what's around me. Now you'll also notice the PowerPole Move on here. I love the motor. I know I was pretty critical of it when it first came out and it was a brand new motor. I've had it now for just under 2 years, I guess. It has had a lot of time in it. Put it this way, if I was to build another boat today, and you guys know that I've used most trolling motors on there, brushless motors that are on the market, I would take the PowerPole Move again, I think. I love it. It has literally put this boat in places that I could never have imagined putting a boat in before. I'm a huge advocate of it. I do have 2 10-foot PowerPole blades that are on the back as well. I really like the connectivity that those blades give me, and that extra 2 foot over the 8 foot, particularly here in Florida, basically lets me stop almost anywhere. Florida's not the deepest place, and I have put these things through the ringer and I'm really happy with them. To make sure that we have really nice power supply to the units and the electronics, and there's no frequency interruptions, I do have 2 Sonar Pro harnesses on this boat, and those supply uninterrupted power from the 2 12-volt lithium batteries in the back. But the amount of information that is ready to me either up the front or at the console is really amazing. It is a dream boat. Right, hopefully you're not getting dizzy with me moving you around, but let's talk about some of the gear. First of all, wet weather gear, I'm rolling buck and bass. Now, Florida's weather is really temperamental, and up north it does get super, super cold. For me, I find it really classy. The logo isn't too big. I did talk to the guys at Bugger Bass recently, and they talked to me about a whole bunch of tech that I think I'll probably go through in another video as well, because it's worthwhile talking about. But as many of you guys know, I really like Buck and Bass. They've done some great things for some junior anglers, particularly Tommy Wood, but I can't understate how dry and comfortable this gear has kept me here during thunderstorms. I'll throw some footage up here, but I think the stuff's great and I do recommend it. I won't surprise any of you guys that have been following this channel for a little while that all the reels on this boat, whether it's baitcaster or spin, are 100% Daiwa. Their drags and the finesse applications of these reels are second to none, so I've got full confidence in them. In terms of rods, you will see a notable difference between the left and the right hand side of the boat, and that's generally how I have this rigged. So let me focus this in if you can't see it, but on the right hand side are Miller rods. On the left hand side, all my spinning reels are Daiwa. Now, truthfully, I think that'll change over time, but these light rods, these 2 to 4 kilo rods that we use in Australia, are 100% adequate for fish here in Florida. Maybe not power fishing in this grass that you can see behind me where you're trying to rip the fish out, but in the open area, forward-facing sonar with a jig head or a drop shot, and I think 100% it gets me more bites, or at least, at the very least, it gives me the confidence that I get more bites, right? On the left-hand side with the casting rods, I think Miller has done an outstanding job with making rods that are fit for purpose and then advertising. It's one of the biggest things that I really enjoy always, and have enjoyed always, about the Miller rods. As I do develop though and work out some preferences that I have for certain techniques, I do think that some of those rods and these rods will probably change in time. On the casting side, I feel like I need a bit of a shorter frog rod, maybe around about that 7.2 mark, as opposed to the long one. And on this side, I do have space for something that's slightly a little bit heavier as well, that's going to pull. That is a spinning rod, but will still pull inside the deck. You guys will recognize some lures from Australia that admittedly aren't released here in the States. Now, that's probably a good segue to talk about the differences, but the US culture of fishing is much different to Australia. In Australia, we had that openness where everyone was sharing the techniques, the spots, the locations, the methods and the lures of how we were catching fish. And that openness really drove a fair amount of innovation in Australia. Here in the US, it's about winning, being number one, and taking that paycheck home. So if you can use a technique or a little trick and you've got that up your sleeve for just a little while longer than everybody else, then that's a good thing. So while you come along on this channel, you'll probably in Australia see all these techniques that we all use, and we have been using them for a very long time. But I'm not necessarily going to be talking about them out aloud or showing them, particularly running into a tournament day where other anglers are looking at your Instagram, which is completely fine, but you get the idea. One of the things that I do really love about the boat, and I'll just quickly show you here, is the go box, I guess, or drop box that's right here. And it's a really quick access rather than having to open up, you know, the hatch and then go through boxes and boxes to find what you need. Those of you astute will notice the warping that's going on the Burley Pro visors here because I've got my units just a little bit too close together. I'm going to look for a separate mount for this. I like the idea of having something that's adjustable and movable so you can escape that glare, particularly on a really high glare day. Righto, so I think that is everything, but that is the decked out Phoenix 920 Elite. That's my decked out. It is ready. The first major test for it and me come at St. Lawrence in a month's time. I'll be sharing the ups and the downs, and if you want to be a part of that or follow along, feel free to hit that subscribe or comment below and let me know in particular what you'd like to see about that journey. Now, I haven't said it in a while, but stay safe. I'll see you next time.